and get your hair cut way up high. Get yourself a lawyer, son. You're gonna need a real good one.
Tex knows of what he sings. You'll always need a really good lawyer, and we've got one for you. David Whiting, well-known, celebrated Melbourne lawyer who is sitting here with you in the studio. David, good morning.
Good morning, Virginia.
And who is being watched now by our lovely Facebook audience. Good morning. Do you know, great to have you streaming here on ABC Radio Melbourne's Facebook page. David, did you know that you're a hit? You're an absolute hit on Facebook.
So two people were watching. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, my friend.
Three.
A lot of people were watching, and they think you're fabulous.
So once off, yep.
No, look, he doesn't believe you, dear Facebookers. Can you please immediately send me a message and say, yes, of course I watch you, David, and you're fabulous, or whatever you like. But I think I'd rather you said that.
Yep.
I can dictate terms here, can't I?
You can.
You've brought me a nice little historical curio today.
Yes, they're in the process of amending the Crimes Act to remove the common law crime of blasphemy.
Blasphemy was still on the books, was it?
Well, it's a really interesting one. It doesn't actually get a mention in the Crimes Act, so it's called a common law offence.
Okay.
Rather than a statute law offence. Mm-hmm. And the last prosecution in Victoria was in 1919.
I've done a little bit of homework on that. In 1919, Robert Ross was sentenced to 6 months prison under old federal postal laws. So it was blasphemy, but they used postal laws for attempting to send blasphemous material through the post. And this material was about communists ransacking heaven.
Okay.
I mean,
6 months.
They might if they got there. I guess they might ransack. That would seem to be more blasphemous about communists, wouldn't it, than about heaven itself?
Well, I'm doing something with their values, yes.
I guess so.
Yeah, there'd be a problem.
Okay.
So, there's a bill before Parliament to remove blasphemy as a crime in Victoria.
Okay.
So
such things as, don't say it, but suggest it.
To the action or offence of speaking sacrilegiously about God or sacred things.
So
it would be for every religion, not just Christian religions.
Well, of course, and there's been some famous ones over the years in relation to Islam. Yep. And I don't imagine in Islamic countries that their laws will change sometime soon. But the common phrase of, oh my God, strictly speaking, would that have breached that common law of blasphemy?
I would have thought it would, yes.
If someone really wanted to bring an action.
Yep.
Goodness.
But, they have to be quick because it's going
Okay.
as we become more and more secular.
Okay.
The other change is we talked last week about changes to guardianship laws which came into effect on Sunday. Mm-hmm. They've brought in new material from Sunday that relates to the sale of real estate. And until Saturday night, it was an offence to fraudulently conceal from a prospective buyer any material fact about a property when selling land. So if I tell you that it's filled or any of that, fraudulently, it's now knowingly. So if I know something about my property that I think a person ought to know when buying, I've got to now put that in my disclosure documents.
Such as?
Well, has there been a murder committed in the property?
That's not been obligatory up till now.
No. There's only been one case in Australia on the fraudulently conceal, and that was in New South Wales, and it dealt with a murder. There had been a murder in the property. Mm-hmm. I think had the case been run in Victoria, you would have got the same answer, but now it's knowingly. Mm-hmm. So not telling them that the property's been flooded, not telling them that there's been a bushfire, not telling them there have been some illegal extensions. All of those are matters that now need to be disclosed.
Rising damp? What if you know your house has got rising damp?
That's not on the list from Consumer Affairs.
I think it should be.
Yes.
Of course, my marvellous listener audience, just fabulous bunch of people, are now, of course, texting in with their own blasphemy, aren't they, that they want me to read out. Why? Because you just want to get me into trouble. What about holy shamoli? Oh, I don't think that's a problem, is it?
What's shamoli? Is it a Yiddish term? Sounds like one.
I think it's straight out of a Warner Brothers cartoon. Yep. You mean I can now legally say Jehovah, Jehovah? Chris in Ferny Creek?
Absolutely. Yes.
Other stuff I won't read out. And hi, Virginia, says Mary on text. I was talking to a very skilled lawyer the other day, and he says David's breadth of knowledge is outstanding in the field and amongst his peers.
Oh, It's very nice.
We're going to make David Whiting blush on air. It's never been happened before. It's never been achieved, but we're going to achieve it today. Give us a call if you'd like some help. 1300 222 774. Claire has called in from country Victoria. We're going to be a bit careful with this call. We've had a chat about it off air because we want to make sure that everyone in this situation is safe and taken care of. But Claire has a question for you, David. Good morning.
Good morning, David. I'm aware of someone who is in jail on remand facing multiple charges of domestic violence. He is due to appear in court on the 22nd of April. I want to know the legal position if he pleads guilty, which is highly unlikely, and what happens if he pleads not guilty.
To what?
To these charges that he's facing.
Okay. Well, there's in a criminal proceeding in the magistrate's court, you start with what's called a mention date. And a mention date from our point of view is all about court scheduling. So if it's a mention date and you're pleading not guilty, then there'll be questions asked about how many witnesses there will be, how long the hearing will take, and that will then be put off to another date.
Right.
For a hearing. If the person chooses to plead guilty, and quite often on these kinds of issues, there might be 7 or 8 charges, and you might end up with a situation where the person pleads guilty to 1 or 2 or 3, and then the others are withdrawn. So it's called charge bargaining. Plea bargaining is not legal in Victoria, but charge bargaining happens all the time. It's a exercise in efficiency, not justice. Now, if the person chooses to plead guilty, then that person then has the choice of having the matter dealt with there and then on the basis of an agreed summary, or it will be adjourned to another date. But if the person is currently locked up, then there might be an incentive, if they're planning to plead guilty, to have it dealt with straight away.
I see. Should we employ a lawyer's services?
Well, you're a witness. You're not the prosecutor. So this matter really doesn't have a great deal to do with you other than as a potential witness.
But because it's my daughter's involved in this, should she have a lawyer?
But she's no more than a witness.
She's
a
not
witness in this matter. She will have provided a statement to the police.
Yes.
And the police, in my terminology, own the charge. What they do with it is up to them. Your daughter is a witness. Can I suggest that, given that it's quite some time away, your daughter ought to go and talk to the clerk at the magistrate's court and find out. There's a real advantage in feeling less uncomfortable. So you go a month before and you sit in the back of the court where the court is dealing with a couple of these matters, and you get a sense of the theatre in the court, how it works and how she might be as a witness.
I hope that helps, Claire.
It does. Thank you very much, David.
Before you go, how's your daughter doing?
Oh, she's absolutely terrified.
Then I think it's even more important that she does this. She might talk to the complainant again, the police officer concerned, to get a little bit more information. But go to our magistrate's court, not necessarily that one, and sit in the back of the court and just see how these things happen. They're on every day in Melbourne. In the country, they're not. So that might be something that she could do.
And Claire, has your daughter called 1-800-RESPECT and got some support and some advice from the federally funded services available?
She hasn't as yet.
Get her to make a call. She might just have a useful conversation that might make her feel a bit more supported.
Yes. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
That's a really tricky situation there. Elaine has called in from Latrobe. Hi, Elaine.
Oh, hi. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it. On October the 19th last year at 5:16 a.m, our neighbour dumped over 40 tyres on our property.
Yes.
I have gone everywhere to try and get this resolved. I have not approached him because I'm a little apprehensive. My husband and I are elderly with a few ailing problems. I've been to the police. Policeman was very good. He suggested mediation, which we tried, and the neighbour was quite adamant he would not attend mediation.
Yes.
I've been to the Shire, no help. I've been to the EPA.
So have you been able to provide evidence to the police and to the Shire that that person dumped the tyres?
Well, I have security
I know it's at
vision.
5:16, so you should have some eye. Have you got
That's right.
cameras?
Yes, there are cameras in the court, and I did have a copy of that. The EPA would not return it to me. But the Shire says they haven't got a number plate, but his ute is quite distinct. The EPA even did a rego check on him, and yes, he lived there, but because he didn't do anything like in the tyre industry, it was a private matter and they just left it.
So you're stuck with your own, you've got to bring your own proceeding in a magistrate's court.
Well, do I have to do that?
Well, the people who
That's
might would be the police, because the dumping would be a criminal offence,
Well,
the
that's
council
what I
because it
thought.
would be a bylaw issue, and the EPA because it would have been a dumping issue. All have the capacity to bring the proceeding, but they've all made it clear to you that they don't propose to.
Yes.
So it's entirely up to you. And my real worry, Elaine, is that the cost of removing the 40 tyres might be less than the cost of taking your neighbour to court.
Yes. Yes.
So the
But
issue...
we're elderly. How do I pick them? My husband can't do it. He's just had a heart attack. So he's home yesterday from hospital.
And you're not going to get legal aid for it.
No,
So
I
you're not
probably
going to get any assistance from an organisation like that.
Yes.
And I suppose I'd be going to the council and say, well, why aren't you prosecuting?
Yes.
And see if you can get that answer from council.
Yes.
But otherwise, you are in a sense you've been wronged, but there's nobody out there who's going to put the time and effort into solving your problem.
That's right.
Yeah.
Elaine, good luck.
Thank you.
Sorry about the situation you find yourself in. Dallin has called in from Mont Albert. Am I saying your name correctly?
That's fine. I'd rather just leave it at that.
Okay.
That's okay. Hi, Virginia. Hi, David. Thanks
Hi.
for taking my call. Look, my question is regarding... my wife was attacked last year by someone, and I understand that he was recently released on a community corrections order. I happen to know that he was convicted of an aggravated burglary, and from my understanding, magistrates are not supposed to give community corrections orders to people who have committed aggravated burglaries, and I'm just wondering if I'm correct in that or if I'm mistaken.
That one, Dalen, I'm taking as a homework question. All right?
So if you can tune in next week, we'll have an answer for you. How is your wife?
She's okay. It's been very difficult.
It may be that the court has this person been charged in relation to the offence that involved your wife?
That's about to come before the court. That's why I don't want to say too much more about that.
Well, then the community corrections order might be addressed as part of the hearing of the matter that involves your family. But I will give you an answer to your question next time.
Thank you very much, David.
Okay, so tune in and we'll have an answer for you. Let's hear from Leah, who's called in from Corowa. Hi, Leah.
Hi, I'm a joint power of attorney and a sole guardian for my dad, who has mild cognitive impairment, as his geriatrician has tested him for. And the other joint power of attorney over the last few months has decided to start refusing to pay Dad's invoices for different reasons. One was for a family solicitor. She said there was no retainer. And the other one was... she won't pay his pharmacy bill and a plumbing bill because she wants a neuropsychological assessment of my dad. And I was just wondering, what do I do?
You go to VCAT and have the power of attorney revoked.
Oh, okay.
And you apply to be appointed as the sole administrator. The attorney in these situations has certain obligations that the attorney isn't meeting. That's grounds for seeking its revocation.
Well,
now,
what if the other person wants to fight that and argue?
Well, then that's a decision. These are three bills that we say are properly incurred for the benefit of Leah's dad, and it's not facilitating the. you reach a point in when there's a diminution of capacity where the attorney has a positive obligation to act.
Yes.
So if Leah's dad was perfectly hale and healthy, the attorney could say, I'm not required to do anything. It's entirely discretionary. But as Leah's dad falls away, there's an obligation to step in.
Right.
Does that help, Leah?
Yes,
So
it
you
does.
can download the form and you can go to your co-attorney. Are you joint and several or joint?
We're joined.
Okay, so everything requires 2 signatures.
Correct.
Then
yes.
why don't you tell your attorney that's what you're proposing to do and then see what happens?
Well, they've actually said, bring it on, basically.
Okay, then bring it on. Download the form.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're in for a fight. Let us know how it goes. That's a tricky one. This has come in on text. If you're watching us on Facebook, good morning. Great to have your company. David Whiting is here taking your calls and offering free legal advice. And David, this has come in on text. What a small world we are in. Watching you and David on Facebook in Dublin, Ireland. All the best, says Jared.
Wonderful.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
It really is. Daniel has called in from Point Cook. Hi, Daniel.
Hello, Virginia and David. How are you?
Well, thank you.
David, I was unhappy with some work a lawyer did for me, and I ended up sending him a letter of demand saying that I was going to take him to VCAT under poor service, lack of service.
Yes. Can I ask how much was involved, Daniel?
Total of about $30,000.
Okay, then you would go to VCAT. It starts to get a bit tricky. There are lots of places that you can run a dispute about the amount of the account.
Yep.
Okay. So you can, if it's less than about $15,000, you can go to the Legal Services Commissioner.
Yep.
There are processes for requiring a bill to be in a particular form and delivered within a particular time. And on those issues, you can go to the Costs Court. So there are processes for finalising what the numbers are.
Okay.
So the question to me is, are you saying that some of the things he or she has done you have been overcharged for, or some of the things that you've been charged for weren't done, or you didn't like the outcome?
Well, I was really unhappy with the outcome, but I thought under lack of service under the fair trade, and just to send you off in a different direction, David, he sent back a letter saying, don't contact me anymore. Legal Practitioners Liability Committee are the only ones to contact over this on behalf of him. And I just wondered, if I do go to VCAT, do I fill in their name? And I won't mention their name on the
Thank you.
What
he's done, or he or she has done, is referred the matter to their insurer. The Legal Practitioners Liability Committee is the compulsory legal insurer for lawyers in Victoria. So it's been referred to the LPLC as a claim against the practitioner. So you could write to them, or you could get a lawyer to write to them. I know that's adding insult to injury. Mm-hmm. So that's how you could do it, or you could go to VCAT.
Okay.
But the question you're going to have to do is prove, well, what's my damage as a result of the service, and is it really about fees or is it about outcome?
Okay, so if I go to VCAT, though, the person's name I put in as my opponent.
You engaged the firm.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
So
it's the whatever the company or the firm is called is the respondent to your claim.
Okay. Good luck.
When they said don't give me any further communication about this at all, I just wondered if they're trying to trick me.
No. You would do the process, and there's a process for serving a VCAT claim. It would go in the mail.
So
no issue.
Goes ahead there. Good luck with that. Let me see if I can grab this text. It's updating too quickly. I had a question about... Nope, sorry, it's gone, but it was basically one... Oh, here we go. Watching from country Victoria. Why is David not wearing a wig?
Because I lost most of my hair when I was 24. Is that enough? Yep.
David Whiting is not a barrister and is not appearing in front of a judge this morning, although, hey, I could be, and therefore is not required to wear a wig.
Not required to be robed, unless the judge is robed.
That's right, exactly.
And judges are generally not robed these days.
From time to time, I know a motion is moved by the Bar Council to, suggest maybe we should give up the wigs and the robes. This is all a bit too silly and it alienates people from the court. And what I hear, the ones who always vote against that, The younger ones coming in.
Because they've just bought one.
Yeah,
That's
because
what
they're
it
really
is.
looking
Yes.
forward to it. They want to dress up. They want to frock up.
There's an expression, Queen Anne's dead.
Yes.
And when Queen Anne died, they moved from red robes to black robes, and they just haven't gone back.
They just haven't got out of mourning yet.
No.
Paul has called in from Lauriston. Hi, Paul.
Oh, good morning, Virginia, and good morning, David. I have a query, and I'm a little bit concerned about this. Last week in the mail, I received a letter purporting to be from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, the ABS, and it says, your household has been selected by the ABS to complete a family and community experiences survey.
Yes.
And the first part of the survey in two parts. The first part, I'm requested, in fact, I'm instructed to go online and complete this, and by March the 11th.
Yes.
And thereafter, we will organise an ABS interviewer to visit your household to conduct the second part of the survey.
Yes.
Two things. Could this be related to the fact that maybe, this household didn't complete the census last time? And secondly, is it a scam?
Can I just ask quickly before we hear from David, have you phoned the ABS to ask whether they are sending out such letters?
No, I haven't.
You haven't? Okay, that's fine. David, go ahead.
Paul, they send out these letters all the time. It is their way of adding depth to their surveys. I feel very sorry for you, but they do send them out. And,
why do you feel sorry for him?
Because they're quite intrusive. They take quite some time to fill out, and they nag the hell out of you. So,
Is this part of the Hilda survey?
Sorry?
The household income, labour.
It's part of tell me what you buy, all those sorts of things.
They're very important if it's legitimate, and I'd be calling the ABS and saying, do you do this? But they're very important surveys. They give us great data about who is doing what in Australia, Paul. Do you feel a civic obligation to fill it out?
Look, I'd love to help the government in any way I possibly could.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, that's the sort of person I am. But my concern is that it looks for all the world like a scam in that they're asking me to go online.
Sure. No, I'm with you. I would ring and say, I have this letter, it's dated this, it's got this serial number on the top. I need someone to tell me, to my face that this is real, or you're not getting me online. And I reckon that's the way to go.
Can I use your telephone to make that call?
I'm going to just let you go because your phone line is terrible. And don't get into me, dear listener, about saying that. Sometimes the phone lines are dreadful. And we're getting a brand new phone system that I've been assured is brilliant. The phone lines are terrible sometimes, aren't they, David?
Well, I've noticed lots of people now have what I call a VoIP phone.
A what phone?
A VoIP, voice over IP. It's a phone. The NBN phones are all VoIP phones, and the sound quality is often not nearly as good.
Elaine called in with a very big tyre problem earlier. Adrian's called in from Gippsland. Adrian, are you our white knight?
Well, possibly, yeah. I just wanted to offer my services to her and her husband. I'm happy to go and pick up her tyres, and I don't know what I'll do with them, but I'll be able to dispose of them appropriately.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very kind of you.
Well, I mean, I can hear in her voice that she's stuck in a circle, not getting anywhere, and, it's not very nice when you go home from hospital, all those extra pressures, so... Yeah.
And sometimes you just need a community member to break the deadlock when the bureaucracy won't.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll pop you on hold. That's very generous of you. What would you do with the tyres, Adrian?
I'll just find a recycling place. But I think they usually charge, but I'm not sure exactly where she was, but I'll find the right place to get them. Yeah.
Latrobe, so not too far from... from where you are. Stay on the line. We'll get your details. Elaine, if you are listening, we need you to call back. We can't hook you up there with the very generous Adrian unless you phone back. Our number, of course, is 1300 222 774. Tell Katrina and Matilda that's why you're calling. We'll get you together. And then, Elaine, let us know how it goes. That's nice. You've got one bit of homework. David, we'll see you not next week, I think.
The week after.
The week after. And Facebook, bye-bye. So great to have you on board this morning as well. Say goodbye to David, your new rock star here on streaming services. And we'll be streaming some more fascinating conversations for you on ABC Radio Melbourne's Facebook page very soon.